Hi traders, this is Thiago and welcome to Bull Bear Futures channel. If you're still not a subscriber, please subscribe to the channel and leave your like in the video. Just a second, just let me turn on this light. Okay, it seems to have everything in place. So if this is your first time, I'm once in a while, at least once a week, I carry out this live stream. My objective here is not, this is not a trading room, it's not to give calls, but just to narrate the flow and share my concepts regarding especially overflow and my approach that is mixing charts or technical analysis with order flow tools, and that this can give you a competitive edge to your day trading activities. Okay, so as usual, let's start from the brief, a quick brief from market scenario. Since there's a long time I don't approach to the longer time frame charts, I will start by monthly chart here. That's interesting. If we can skip here to my screen. Uh, I'm always looking at this monthly chart, and what we see is that for this is the 7th month where um, we are not actually sideways, but um, the highs, we're making highs, close highs, and lower, in a lower level than the previous one. We're now faced, we didn't even reach the 4220, that is a reference for me. We were in a downtrend, and now we are failing to overcome the important previous regions. And so this kind of, it's a kind of ascending triangle, but at the same time, I don't like seeing this in a downtrend, especially when it's failing to reach the previous top. So I don't like this. In theory, it could move upward, but I confess that I'm looking more to the possibility of the downward move here. But as I'm always saying, it's better to try to avoid to get biased. But anyway, this is what I'm seeing here. In the weekly chart, it's, I think this week I've drafted this rectangle here. If we see from last November, we have a kind of rectangle here, even though we only touched the bottom twice. We are in the third test up there. So it seems, I think that considering current marketing decision, we are seeing this duality between inflation, recession. Every week we are waiting for new economic data, and for a couple of weeks and months we get new data, but we are always failing to get convinced, or these data are not enough to give any comfort for buyers to move upwards, and even to bulls to move downwards down here. So I wouldn't be surprised if we keep a bit longer within this big range from 3850, 3840 to 30 to 4200 here. Okay. um, and we have, I've lost the lines here, but we have a Fibonacci at 4251 up here, Fibonacci retracement, and also we have also one down here at 3840, around 3840, I guess, 3857, I think. So this rectangle is right inside this Fibonacci's. So I wouldn't be surprised if even though we've had lots of tests up here, I wouldn't be surprised if we see another test down here, or at least in this uptrend line from last October, okay? Daily chart also shows us that we are here. It's in a bit narrower range from 4100 to 4190 up there. This time it seems we failed to overcome the 4160 here. That was important to be overcome yesterday and failed. I think that this would be the point to be watched this session. So as we can, we need to overcome it to test the 174, then 84, and then 90. But let's see. And down here we have the 4880. We have the 200 days exponential moving average and 4030, the 200 days simple moving average. Okay, we had two tests. We've touched it twice in the exponential down here. It's not a surprise because it's usually a good reference for support. Okay, let's see how it will, if price will actually continue moving downwards. This session we spent the night within the value area, okay, but early still in the night prices assumed a firm downtrend, and currently and spend the morning early in the morning struggling with the support one as a resistance. Okay, so this 140 here is really important. I think that failing there we could see prices heading downwards, and moving downwards we have the 4125 that is actually important for many sessions, 4116 and 4105. I think that this 05 is crucial down there because buyers knows that they need to defend there, because this 5 will be actually the defense from 4100. Okay, so I think that moving lower, trading lower than 4100, we could see sellers increasing the pressure. But let's see here, let's start here, uh, and let's see how it will work, how this session will be, because yesterday was a bit tricky. In the beginning, for my style, for my approach, there were some opportunities. It kind of assumed it ranged a bit, but assumed a downtrend. Then there were a couple of trades that could be carried out, but during the session, during the day, it actually started crazy moves, or this in definition, and we see through the candles, we see that it was challenging, and it would not be a surprise if we see today kind of same situation. Uh, the main events of the week will be on Wednesday and Thursday. Aaron mentioned here, Aaron, you are right. Tomorrow there is the CPI to be released, so it's always expected CPI tomorrow and PPI on Thursday. So we could see some activity with them. Today we have a funk guy speaking at noon, so it can bring some volatility, can add some volatility, or people is always trying to get some clue, and depending on those guys speaks, it can shake a little bit. But I wouldn't be surprised that actually if we keep kind of like yesterday, even though we're opening with a selling pressure, with a bearish pressure, I wouldn't get surprised if we keep this level and get shaking, or but it's hard to anticipate. It's hard to foresee, or it's better to attend to the flow. We're seeing that so far we are in a 2 point range here, okay. Last close was 41.37, and we have also the support one and 140. And 140 was very important. It was a strong resistance on Friday. Price spent a couple of hours trying to overcome it and being region defended. So I think that we could face some difficult to it could be difficult to overcome the 40, but failing to even reach the last close at 37 could mean could confirm this perception of weakness. Price wouldn't be being able to reach even the point. So let's see what's going to happen. 6 minutes. Let's see. We still not we didn't see yet the volumetric bars here. We're seeing intense activity from both sides. Okay, buyers making aggressive orders, sellers absorbing, but sellers also making aggressive orders. So this is typically the profile of indecision or ranging or market ranging, when there's lots of interest from many players. Let me see just an info here. I think yesterday we had a small volume, a lower volume, but I forgot to check it. Let me see. I like I like looking at the CME group, the daily volume. Yeah, definitely. Yesterday we had, let me just show you here. Look here, yesterday we traded, there were 1 million contracts, 1.028 contracts, 1.028 million contracts in E-mini S&P. Look here, it was the lowest level within this latest 30 days, okay? It was yesterday I had this perception from the intraday volume, and now we can confirm. This for me is clearly an indecision, an indecision, an indecision mode. Okay. Uh, After last week, after the FONC meeting last week, and the payroll kind of making a contradiction to the scenario. Players are actually waiting for this players are actually waiting for tomorrow and Thursday data, so it's usual to reduce the volume. That means it's kind of lacking conviction from both from both sides, and then the intensity, their appetite reduce, waiting for more, try to get something a bit clearer. But then 2 sessions with lower volume. Probably tomorrow and Thursday we could resume the average, trade the average, or in these situations it's usual to trade above the average, a higher volume than average. But let's see. This condition with such a narrow range, I don't like trading. It's this kind of scenario. I like ranges, but not too tight. So as it is here, when you have 8, 10 points, 7 to 10 points, it's more comfortable since we can have a better risk return ratio. Here is really tough to do something. Let's pass through the chart here. The charts, I'm not sure if you follow me here, but I'm currently preferring for maybe 2 months. I'm using the 4000 ticks. I prefer to see. I think that the tick chart filters some of the noise volatility brings, and that is present in the time-based candles. So I prefer to, but I'm always looking at the time-based because sometimes the technical patterns can be better detected on them. So I'm always I'm using this, but now and then I try to check 2 and 5 minutes. And up here I have always the 15 minutes, not to guide, not to give me any. I don't use this to trade, but just to check the midterm trend, or to see a bit uh, with a zoom out. I can see here the value area, a larger range, a bigger range, value area, pivot point, resistance. And so it's let's see. We had a couple of tries to to break daily low. Okay, now we are for the fourth time we are moving upwards and trying to overcome the top here. But remember that at 37 we have yesterday's low, and at 40 we have support one, and also it was important also. It was a strong resistance on Friday. So let's see. On time-based charts, this size of candle we had here, this is not that necessarily a big. Here it's a big because other one seems to be short, but when I see this such a big green candle, for me it's meaningful, since here means that 4,000 trades have been carried out here. So after a congestion, since such a big candle is meaningful for me, it does not mean that I'm gonna do anything only by looking at it, but it's meaningful. Let's see if price will be able to trade above. But see here, look here, that we had an exhaustion right at the 38.75. In such an upward move, we shouldn't have this here. Buyers should have a stronger appetite. It's not good to see such a lack of appetite in a breakout. If we see here the filtered times and sales, we've seen not that much. We're not that big blocks. We see that buyers put the pressure, but it's not that big. So I prefer to see strong activity. This is kind of confirmation for us about the indecision mode. We've seen the breakout, but it lost intensity. But anyway, if it keeps trading above this 35 here, if able to hold up from 6, it could be a signal of strength, and then we could see price keeping trying to move upward. But we could consider that what we've seen so far was another fail around the resistance one and yesterday's close. And this fail is not that auspicious for buyers. Let's see here. If it's how it will react if reaching. We're seeing that buyers are putting pressure. Okay, sellers defended, absorbed, but buyers kept putting pressure. Let's see right here. It's here that we should know should look at. So far, didn't even reach the 875, but at the same time, sellers are putting pressure and buyers absorbing here. Okay, but this fail in reaching the 875 is another weakness signal. Okay, this absorption here, and now we had a kind of, it's not a strong exhaustion like this 12, but we had an exhaustion lower, the 8.5. We see that buyers stopped making aggressive orders, and at the same time there were no buying order. There was no, the 3850 didn't reach the bid. The left column is the bid. What was, so we could maybe from what we're seeing and from what we already knew before, and Aaron mentioned here on the chat, in the chat, uh, it seems that we could spend most time sideways. We can sometimes have a fast move like we had yesterday afternoon, 20, 25 drop with an instantly immediate reversal. But you see that coming here, the 37. Let's see if it will be able to remain above the 37, but it seems that it buying strength has already reduced. Let's see if they're going to overcome. But failing from 37 to 40 is definitely a bearish signal. But they keep keep struggling. Let's see. Buyers are defending here because I would say that entering the 34, it would be likely to see a test in 31. Okay, so buyers should really do what they're doing, try to avoid reaching the 34, because failing here in the 35 could mean that sellers could reassume the lead here, start putting aggressive orders and start absorbing. So let's see which side's going to win. Then what is not unusual in this kind of situation is to increase the range. Okay, we had kind of two ranges so far, from 31.75 to 34.50, and now from 35.50 to 38. We could get this range a bit extended, so we could get moving from 32 to 37, 32 to, look at here, we are seeing buyers trying and sellers absorbing at 36. Sellers are absorbing in lower and lower levels. Okay, now we had an exhaustion 37. This is another, as I always mention, we need to get always connected to this context. Okay, we had this exhaustion at 38.75, 12 contracts. We should have more contracts there. On the next try, it didn't even reach it, the 875, exhaustion in 8.5, and now we had an exhaustion 37 with few contracts. So uh, we are seeing that buyers are failing to, each time they push price up, they are reaching a lower level. This is definitely not good for them. Let's see here the 35.25. Let's see if they're going to, sellers will be able to push price down here. I think that entering the 34, we could see a test in 31, 32 at least, but let's see how it will work. Buyers keep trying to defend. Sellers keep putting pressure. We had an exhaustion here at the 450, okay, such as we had in the same way we had exhaustions up there. Now, kind of like a confidence for sellers, and they stopped the aggression here. But it seems that by now they're a bit stronger, but it's it's hard. It's always hard to say, especially when it's ranging this way. But this lower and lower selling absorption for me is a signal of weakness. Okay, so from my perspective, I would say that at this moment it would be more likely to see a test in 32 or 31 than a new test to 38. But we're always telling about probability. Okay, so there's not a certainty, but considering the context, and after such a three tries, we had 3 or 4 tries down under. Sellers failed, and then buyers took the lead, make 3 or 4 tries up there, and so as I mentioned, we could get ranging. We could get this two ranges being merged. So from 32 to 37. But let's see. Let's see what's going to happen. I didn't mention, I neglected so far the depth of market. This weekend video, I'm not sure if you watched it. I told about this depth of market. We're seeing here 1700, 14, 1500. It's market. It shows me that market is really kind of stuck. We have lots of interest from both sellers and buyers. And when we see market getting stuck, as it's been usual recently, it's this depth of market only confirms this. Latest month and maybe years, we use it to see here from 600 to 800. Okay, and seeing such amount of big amount of contracts means that prices moves a bit slower. It's hard because we are always struggling to move 1 2 points. It's difficult. So now if we put here in the time based 2 minute, look at here. Each candle, 2 minute candle is 2 points or so. It's too few. For me is stable to trade. Even if I was trading, I wouldn't be doing anything. I don't like such a. I prefer market running than stuck this way. Yeah, Aaron, so do I. It's difficult to. It's not that good. So just taking the opportunity for you guys watching now and watching the video recording. If you think this is interesting, if you like, give us your like. It's very appreciated. Um, let's see again. You see here, we had now an exhaustion at 6.5. We're seeing every time it moves there, up there, we see an exhaustion. Now we've had an exhaustion down under even before reaching the low. So it's hard to consider doing anything for me. Let's see if this time, you see, buyers reach the top of the candle, but kind of lose their interest. Look here. Exactly, Aaron. Oh, but now we see an increased activity, but it's not that motivated. Look here, sellers putting pressures, buyers putting pressure, sellers absorbing. Now we are seeing different from previous times. We're seeing an more intense uh, action from buyers. Sellers stopped absorbing. This could be good for buyers, but let's see if buyers will keep putting pressure, because if they exhaust, if sellers stop selling, but buyers also quit aggressions, it was the move and then can revert again. But this time we're seeing an more intense activity here. We could see a try or maybe a pseudo a fake breakout, because it's also been hard to believe in breakouts, in good breakouts. Sometimes prices break but only displace 2, 1, 2, 3 points. Let's see. Reminding that 4140 is the point to be watched here, because it's really an important point, and today is also the support one. Okay, we are right here. We're seeing another big green candles. That is a bullish signal. Now bulls increased their not only bulls not actually increased that much their activity, but it seems sellers temporarily stopped their, no, they made aggressions here. Look here, sellers making aggressions, buyers absorbing. But after overcome the 40, there was a huge amount absorbed in the 40, and sellers and buyers failed at 41. So we could say that we are right at the support. We're seeing buyers putting pressure, and it's expected. Actually, they should put pressure because they need to overcome this. They need to overcome this 40 here to be able to move to 45 and 50. But sellers defending. Let's see. Now we have here, I like using the moving average, not to define my entry, but to take a clue about to give me a visual about the trend. So now we are trending upwards. So it would be hard for me to consider entering a short trade here. Okay. Then let's see if we see prices moving downwards and failing to trade below the 40, it could mean uh, buyers strength. So failing to reach the 39 and moving upwards again could lead to a bit longer move, and good trade. I would be considering to do something, but so far not. Let's see here, and this is an important region. So being able to trade above this 40 here could lead to reach to the 45. That's at 45. Let's see. It would be interesting to see here prices trying to trade below the 40 and failing. We see an exhaustion, for example, at 39 and a new upward move. This is the kind of signal I like trading. Let's see where sellers will be able to push until where. Let's see if there will be an absorption at 40 here. Let's see. The 40, an exhaustion right at the 40, but hard to consider it so far. Let's see. Sellers keep putting pressure. Keep the pressure. No exhaustion. I would prefer to see an exhaustion here. It would mean that sellers would have stopped it, but it didn't happen. So I wouldn't be that confident. But it seems that this worked, and let's see. Let's see again the 40. This confirms that if buyers are able to hold here, this confirms this temporarily buying strength. But let's see, sellers are putting a big pressure. Look here. Buyers absorbing, sellers spending lots of contracts to try to push down, but buyers keep absorbing. Yeah, let's see if sellers will actually be able to. They have broken the 40, but let's see if they will be able to hold the pressure. Let's see here at the average 37, if they will. Here we are entering the previous range. This for me is a better signal. I thought that they could make the move up there, but I don't like when we were trying to trend upwards. There was a defense, and we re-enter such the previous range. For me is a bearish signal. Okay, then let's look here at volumetric bars. Let's see here the region of 38.25 failing to overcome the 39 would confirm the weakness. It shouldn't. Here in the 40, in my perspective, it shouldn't have moved so far until the 36 here. Things have been strange, but I don't like to see such a displacement. 40 was my point, and price reached 36 easily. So in this kind of move now, I don't believe this that much in this reaction. Then we overcame the 825, but stopped at 40.20. Now the move stopped again in 420. Yeah, Aaron, I agree with you. That depends on the kind of range, and in this case was too close. But we faced it's been a long time to trade to overcome the 38. So I think that in this case it was a resistance, and then when coming downwards, it passed too easy. Then I don't like. It could be a test, but I prefer to see tests at the limits or a bit above, but not moving 2 3 points within the range. Even though I agree with you, it were close ranges, and we are seeing things tight all these sessions, and these concepts get harder. But now if we trade below the 37, and after failing at the 42, because the 40 region, we stopped at 42, and then it was actually in the 40 region. Now we are reaching the view up. I like looking at the view up, but in my scheme, it's too early to have to consider it. I prefer after 1 hour of activity. I think that it's it's an average with a better, its meaning increases with the time. Then, considering the profile we had so far, it would be possible to see a test at 32. Let's see if sellers will be able to push down there. Buyers could hold here in the 35. We've mentioned the 35 before a lot, and then but entering 34, it could be possible to see at least the 32, but actually the 31 tested. But in such a situation and with such a big range here, it would be possible to see this test here, and it wouldn't mean that necessarily even reaching here fast, it wouldn't mean that we could see a breakout. We could, but it does not necessarily mean. We see here in the lower end of the candle, we've seen buyers putting pressure, but sellers absorbing. So when I see buyers defending, but sellers absorbing in the end of the candle, for me, it's a bearish, is more bearish than bullish, okay? In the end of the move, buyers could actually win and push price up. Sellers could get quiet here, and then buyers could keep moving, but we were trying to make highs, prices reverted and moved downwards, and now we're in the lower end of the candle and sellers absorbed. Okay, but it's a huge struggle in every level. So especially within ranges such as this, I don't like trading. I wouldn't be doing anything here. Middle of ranges, I don't like in any scenario. I prefer to trade range limits, because when you see 4,000, 3,000 contracts in each level, it means that it can either move upwards and or downwards. It's hard to define. And since my stop is too tight, I have 2 or 3 point stop. I don't like, even when I get a signal, an interesting signal, I prefer to avoid trading within the range. you see both sellers and buyers defending at all levels, you have no clue about who could win. And so, even though we are always talking about probability, this is this is almost 50-50, and it's not healthy in the long run. This time you see buyers are making their efforts, but sellers are being able to hold. We had an exhaustion in 575 again, okay? This the kind of signal we have to get in we need to have in mind. Let's see if they will keep putting pressure here in 33.25. So far there was an exhaustion, but it's not conclusive yet. So I wouldn't trust this exhaustion, because it was maybe it wouldn't be, and especially that we are so close to the lower to the end of the range, to the beginning of the range here. So I could consider this exhaustion to make a trade, and then I could get stopped at 30, for example, and then price move favorably again. I prefer to avoid. But you see here, price reached the 32.50, 32.50 is the reference. We've seen this intense activity, this intense absorption at 32 here from buyers, but we could see this 32.50 could be the limit of the move this time. Let's see. Look here, we have this. We see a clear difference here in the pattern from 32 to 450, buyers making aggressions and sellers absorbing. After the 35, we've seen sellers putting pressure but buyers absorbing. So we have different patterns here. So let's see if overcoming the 35.50 here, if buyers will take the lead and if they will be able to push upwards until at least the 38.25. Let's see. But there was another exhaustion in 575. So for me, after 45 minutes, I remain with the same stance of the beginning. For me, it's better to stay out than and trying in such a context. Now we see that buyers failed to overcome the 575, okay? But let's see here the chart. Let's see this time. Look here. We are in the third candle with selling pressure, but failing to make new lows, okay? If sellers tries, and a fail here could lead to a strong bullish reaction. Let's see what's going to happen. For example, if we see prices trading below the 32, an exhaustion lower than 32, and immediately buyers taking the lead, then this could lead to a stronger reaction, maybe at 38 or 40. This is the profile I like trading. A fail to make a new low, and in a try, an exhaustion, especially if there is this exhaustion. Then we see a beautiful green candle. Sometimes it leads to a good long trade until at least the end of the range, the upper end. Let's see. Sellers absorbed here 3.25. Did you see? What we're seeing that in the latest 4 or 5 tries, price is failing to overcome the 35 at 575, 550. So buyers are suffering to push, are failing to reach the 36. Let's see. This time, yeah, you are, Aaron, I agree with you. When I see such a big candle in 15 minutes, this usually ends up biasing me, but I'm in a constant exercise to try to get biased with such a situation, especially when it's time based. Okay, it's definitely meaningful, but especially in such a market we're living. Look at here in depth of market in 10 levels we have almost 2,000 contracts. It's a huge amount. It's definitely a huge amount. So it's hard to see market running with such a full book. It's hard to see the book with so many contracts. So we've seen that price failed at 275. They failed in making a new low. It stopped in a region that was possible actually to pause in this absorption, then moved and exhaustion 725. We're seeing that both sellers and buyers are lacking confidence when they reach the limits of the range. It seems that it's more comfortable for both sides to get ranging. Let me take a look at the so far it's a two. No, we had almost 1 hour, 50 minutes, and the displacement was 12 points. 12 points. Since we are kind of stopped there, taking the opportunity to mention about the unbalanced volume. I like seeing the unbalanced volume on the daily chart. Okay, this confirms this kind of shape, confirms the uncertainty we were seeing here in definition. Okay, but last week it has broken this bottom here, and for me this is a bearish signal. Okay, so in the coming sessions today and tomorrow, I'm definitely looking at this, because if we're seeing positive sessions with big volumes, it tends to trend upwards, and negative sessions with higher volume than positive ones, we tend to see this trending downwards. Okay, so I don't use to take my decisions in day trading, but this is my midterm kind of, one of the tools I use as my guidance. So, as I was telling, from beginning of April until 28, during April, all that move was on balance volume, confirmed that we were in a definition scenario, but last week turned on a yellow light for me. Let's see. I thought that we could have head and shoulders pattern here, but it has broken on last week. We had a test right at the support line of the channel, turn it back to the 200-day exponential moving average and failed now. Seems we're going to fail to make a new top. So we could see at least a move to the 430, but let's wait and see. Let's see the time-based charts here. It's hard to, I don't know who trade strictly charts. It's been hard to find, no, setups or, we had something here, but I wouldn't have traded here and here. Yeah, it was an ascending triangle that led to that. I didn't realize this. 38 to 41, 30, 36 to 41. Today I didn't see this. So just taking the opportunity again about the moving average, I leave this. I'm always looking to where it's pointing. When it's pointing downwards, I prefer to look for short trades, and pointing upwards, try to give preference for long trades. Now we failed. It's the third candle that we failed to overcome it, okay? In this scenario, we reached the moving average. We are trading negative. We are right at yesterday low. We've moved downwards, reached the moving average and failed, okay? Does not mean that the move will necessarily continue downwards, but facing resistance here, I prefer to see a breakout at the top and then trying to take a pullback long, then believing that it would be broken, necessarily broken. Other signal I usually like seeing, I consider I have the view up here, okay? I like using it as reference. But when I see prices hanging up and down, the reference, for me, the reference loses its meaning, loses its relevance, okay? So considering these latest candles, I wouldn't be considering the view up to give me any guidance until at least one or two new tries to overcome a price move upwards or downwards, and it works as support or reference. I would need to see it. I would need to see it working again, because so far it lost the meaning. Aaron, I totally agree with you. By definition, for me, it's I never considered doing something at point of control. Its meaning intrinsically tells us this is the point with most interest in the session. So everything can happen at the region. So what I would consider is that if we displace, if we're at 4 or 5 points from it, either up or down, then this could mean that it has unblocked, but around the point of control, for me, is definitely out of consideration. But now we are trying. You see here, buyers are spending lots of contracts, putting pressure. Sellers absorb it. But let's see if such a long time hanging up and down the point of control. Let's see. But right above we have the 4042, 4041. So I wouldn't do anything here. Let's see here. If this time the 3825 will be overcome. Let's see. We've seen buyers putting pressure, but buyers got quiet at 39. Again, this is not what we expect for someone that is actually trying to make a break. Yeah, Aaron, it's amazing. This is completely shows what you're saying, always telling about the indecision. For me, it's clear that no one knows what's going to happen. This duality between recession, inflation, payrolls data on Friday, it was too strong. At the same time, we have the mid-sized banks. We think that the problem is far from the end. So I think that big players are trying to 24 hours trying to adjust or trying to adjust their models and try to get any clue, but it's really hard to. Even the big guys are kind of lost in this context. So many times it's better to it's difficult to resist to spend 1, 2, 3 hours before the screen and not doing anything. It's a challenge actually, but we need to be conscious to have the consciousness about what's actually needed for us to enter something because let's see this time we are seeing that volatility even though we still with high volume in the depth of market we are seeing price super down shaking, prices moving. We had a new test downwards, but a quickly rejection. Let's see. Maybe this time we could have a. Let's see if this time we could have a breakout. Hi, Aaron. About Corinthians, huh? It's a, man, I'm not even following the championship. I'm a Corinthians fan, but for a couple of years, I'm not that close. I know that it was supposed to play with Fortaleza, I think yesterday, but I confess you, I know that things are not that good. Changes the coach and let's see. So guys, I just realized here I've reached 1 hour and 5 minutes of transmission. Hope you have enjoyed. Uh, Even though it was a tight session, I think it's always helpful. We can discuss the concepts. Uh, we can discuss the concepts. I am always trying to be helpful. So looking real time or even recorded video, if you have doubts or suggestions, please just drop a comment and we can discuss. Okay, during the session, obviously you can use the chat to make questions. It would be my pleasure to try to clarify. Okay, I really enjoy doing this, and it's my pleasure to be helpful. Okay, so thank you for watching. Thanks for joining. See you on next Tuesday. Okay, certainly on next Tuesday we'll be here again. And so far, take care. Tomorrow and Wednesday and Thursday we could see increased volatility. Maybe things get more interesting for us. But let's see what's coming. So take care. Thanks for watching. See you, Aaron. Obrigado por sempre estar aí firme comigo. Thanks, man. Thanks. It's always nice to it's always nice to have you together here. This our chat is always interesting. I really appreciate. Yeah, yeah. Tomorrow it would be interesting to be, but let's see. I'm not sure if I'm entering. I will let you guys know, but not sure. Okay. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.